Hello, hello. Kim Coco here, founder of Swagtail and the Flexible Golfer program. Today's restorative yoga class is designed to offset stress that can negatively affect your ability to function in life, whether that's dealing with your family or performing at work or excelling on the golf course. Now, restorative yoga is less about the stretch and more about putting the body in specific postures so that the body can return to its natural capacity for health. That being said, you want to find a stretch that's like 50 to 60%, so you're not pushing toward a max in any of these poses. In fact, we want to really find ease in every single posture we take so that you can relax into your breathing, so that your parasympathetic nervous system can kick in and really help reduce any unwanted symptoms of chronic stress. So this is great to do after a round of golf, after a long day, anytime throughout the year to really just come back to a nice centered space to clear the mind and reset the body. You'll want some props today. I highly suggest grabbing a strap. And before we get into the poses, I have an 8-foot strap here. No, I take that back. It's a 6-foot strap. And so I have it almost looped up as big as possible because you can always make it smaller. And if you're tall, maybe you have an 8 or 10-foot strap, then also give yourself some room. We're going to use this to help open up the hamstrings a little bit more in a yin style posture toward the end of class, but it should still feel really nice to open the low back. A block, a blanket, a bolster, a stack of blankets or towels if you don't have a bolster will work, and a wall space. We're going to start at the wall space. I suggest grabbing your block and a towel or blanket first so you have it close by, and then you can set your bolster off to the side and your strap off to the side because you're not going to need it quite yet. And then we're going to take Viparita Karani, or legs up the wall, to get started. So bring your hips close to the wall and then roll onto your back and bring your legs up. The closer your hips are to the wall, the more intense the stretch will be on the back of the legs, the back of the hips. So you can scoot your hips away from the wall to make it more comfortable. But no matter where you are, pause for a moment with your feet about hip distance. We're not going to be here long in this traditional posture, but we're just using it as a way to set up and create the space for the rest of class, set the tone. So as you get here, notice the arms wherever they're at. Let them relax down comfortably. Let the back of the shoulders melt into the ground. Let your palms face up, signaling you're ready to receive the healing, the equanimity, the inner harmony that your body knows to be true. And by distracting the conscious mind with our breathing, bringing the mind back to the present moment, focusing on sensations in the body, you're allowing the body to do what it knows how to do. You're getting out of the way so that it can find equanimity. It can restore balance for you on all levels. So on your next breath in, fill up deeply as you breathe in through the nose. Hold the breath all the way at the top. And exhale, release through the nose or the mouth. We're going to take 2 more just like that. Inhaling deeply. Take a pause. Soften the body some. And breathe back out. As you inhale, 3rd time's a charm. Fill up deeply. Really signaling to the body and the mind that this is a new point in time for you. Pause at the top. As you exhale, let the breath go. And set any intention you have for your time on the mat today. How might you like to be different in 60 minutes time when you get up? Start to weave that intention into the natural breathing pattern as you move that breath in and out of the body through the nose. And then slowly start to take your legs wide into a nice Upavishta Konasana. And you can take the hands to support the legs if you need to. You can take blocks and place them on the edges of the thighs to support them there. And you can take the arms in any position that feels comfortable. But let the backs of the elbows rest down, the back of the shoulder blades get heavier. You might even adjust the spine slightly so it feels spacious. And take the first few moments here to really just tap in to a greater level of awareness. And we'll do that by paying attention to your breath. Observe how long it takes to breathe in, and how long it takes to breathe out without really modifying the breath. Just observing it. And all the while, let the back of your pelvis get heavier. Notice where the back line of your body touches the mat and where it doesn't. Where the backs of the shoulders and the backs of the arms make contact with a surface beneath them. And how from the sense of stability, there's an openness in the palms, a lightness at the front of the ribs as the breath flows in and out effortlessly. Even a softness behind your closed eyes. Without much change, simply start to elongate the inhales and the exhales, just a fraction at a time, so that it feels natural to increase your breath capacity. Doing so in a way that supports your body instead of strains it. Creating just a touch more space with the breath in and letting go of any tension with every breath out. Slowly stretching out this rhythm of breath until you find a capacity that you can sustain throughout practice today. For this really is a practice of getting still in a culture and fast pace of life that encourages action. It takes training to still the body and to focus the mind. Take a few more cycles of breath here. And then you can use your hands if you'd like and slowly start to help them back toward one another. And we're going to take the soles of the feet toward the wall as if you were going to take a variation of squat, a malasana pose, only you don't have to prop yourself up. The wall is going to help you. So the tendency is to press the low back into the ground. But see if you can relax the pelvis here so that the low back stays neutral. And you can use your hands to help support the knees if that's comfortable. You can feel the soles of your feet on the ground. And by all means, you can move away from the wall or walk your feet up the wall to make it a little easier. In any case, turn the feet out just slightly so the knees and the toes are at the same angle roughly. And you can feel the natural curvature of the spine. And the same rhythm can ensue where the breath in just helps awaken the body, or awaken the mind really, to keep you focused in the moment. And the exhale softens the body and lets it get heavier. Only this time, as we're in your Supta Malasana or supine squat, we're going to change the breathing. So take your breath in like normal. As you exhale, see if you can extend the breath out at a longer rate than it took you to breathe in. Take a very slight pause before you breathe in again, noticing how long it takes you to inhale. Taking that very slight momentary pause at the top, and then elongating your breath out. So again, just stretching the exhale just fractionally longer than your in-breath. And use this simple activity to train the mind to be present. We often get more stressed in our life, getting into those high beta brain waves because we've got so much going on. We're worried about the past or anticipating the future, worrying and planning and juggling so many mental tasks at once. As you're here, focus only on the length of the breath in, lengthening the breath out, letting the body become as relaxed as possible in this position. Slow breath in through the nose, slightly longer breath out back through the nose as well. With every out breath, can you let go of something? Pattern of thought. I need to grip anywhere in the body. I need to control. And be able to connect with your breathing pattern in a way that's beneficial. It's more organic. It's not forced, but expansive. Take 3 more cycles of this elongated exhale breathing pattern. This is where you might want your blocks and blankets close by. So take a deep breath in and back out. And walk your feet closer together and your knees closer together. Shift your hips an inch or two to the left, and we're going to take a gentle spinal twist, dropping your knees over to the right. So you can place your knees on a block or a blanket, or place a block under the knees and place a blanket between them. You're really going to find any kind of position that feels comfortable. And you might even take your left thumb into your left hip crease and lightly press the left hip toward the wall, just to create more space in the spine. And then maybe adjust the back and take any arm position that feels comfortable here. Arms can extend straight or bend at the elbows. And I highly suggest that as you're here, you take a few moments to get comfortable. You might notice as you start to settle in, you're going to want to change your pose, and that's okay. But take your time to really settle in. Start by keeping your head either upright or maybe even lightly gazing to the left as the left shoulder descends toward your mat. Observe the difference it takes to breathe around the torso now that you've added a spinal twist. Observe where there's constriction, perhaps any hindrances to breathing in easily. Notice any sensations at the bottom of your feet that keep you grounded at the wall, stable amidst changes, knowing that there is a freedom that can occur from such a nice base of support. So if you feel like you're confident you can stay here for the next few minutes without fidgeting too much, we're going to stay. Otherwise, do what it takes to get comfortable so that you can stay. And then return to your pattern of breathing. A comfortable breath in through the nose, a very light pause, slowing down the breath on its way out as much as you can before you breathe in again. Using this breath, moving past the back of the throat, brushing the vagus nerve, which helps stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system to kick into gear, to help calm the body, to rest and digest and restore. If you'd like to turn your head to the right, it might add a little bit of a stretch along the left side of the neck, down to the left shoulder. As the left shoulder continues to descend effortlessly, the body remains heavy, and the breathing interesting in this twisted posture. Using this attribute of curiosity to have fun in this process, watching the breathing. Take 3 more cycles of breath on this side. And then on your next inhale, start to walk your feet back up the wall towards center with the knees bent. Adjust your spine so that you can find that nice neutral position. You can extend your legs up for a moment, just observing any changes between the right side of the body and the left side of the body now that you've done one side of this twist. Observing even how such a simple twist can change the inner layers as well, affecting how the breath moves into your lungs and the space between the ribs. As you're ready, bending your knees again. Shifting the hips an inch or two to the right and slowly dropping the knees to the left. Again, finding a nice comfortable use of your props. This side will likely be different than the other because we are very asymmetrical. So notice if it's easier to twist to this side or it's more challenging. Can you create a nice stable structure in the legs so that the right shoulder can make its way to the floor? Can you adjust your feet so the soles of your feet still rest on the mat? Or, excuse me, not the mat, your wall. But feeling like they would be on your mat, only the texture is probably different, but the grounding effect is just as strong. Allowing the back of your head to rest on the ground with the chin up. We're starting out by potentially turning your head to the right in the opposite direction of your knees. Feeling the right hip bone move toward the wall as well. Taking these first few moments here to really settle into the posture itself. Again, only 50 to 60% of your capacity. Setting up a space in which the body can find a lot of ease. It's not going to have to compete with itself or kick into high gear to sustain such a pose. It can unwind and relax. Trust that it's supported. And know that you're going to be just fine here for the next few minutes as you breathe more consciously in this twist. I know a lot of stress can accumulate when there's unknowns. So you're creating a structure with the body, creating a sense of stability for the mind with the posture, and then you can use your mind to stay present, train it to be here by breathing in through the nose, and then watching that breath go back out through the nose at a slightly longer rate. A nice even breath in, elongated breath out. Settling into this idea that there's nothing else to do. And if items on your to-do list pop up in your mind's eye, acknowledge them. Trust you're going to remember it at just the right time. And come back to focusing on your breath. Keep allowing the right shoulder to descend toward your mat. And perhaps turn your gaze to the left, aware of if a gentle stretch is now created on the right side of the neck, the traps, the right shoulder, the right pecs. Curious, amused, present, without judgment, as you breathe here for the next few moments, letting the body get heavier and the breath stay as spacious as possible. Take 3 more rounds of breath here. And then this time take your right arm and roll all the way over onto your left side so the right arm can stack onto the left, moving any props as you need to so you can lay on the left side of your body. Pausing just for a moment. And mindfully then making your way back up to a seat. And you can actually sit against the wall for a moment since it's nice and handy here. And just pause. Observe the changes that have taken place in your body in these first few postures of class. Any leg position will do, but just be aware of the sides of the ribs, front and back of the torso, shoulders, neck, and head space. There are times this quiet can almost seem unnerving. It might appear to be causing more stress because you need some stimulation. Yet the more time you linger in these slower brainwave states, the more receptive you are, the more you memorize this sense of ease and trust and inner knowing and confidence. So we'll continue to work our way into this alpha state and a delta state with a nice spinal twist. But we're going to take it in a forward fold that encourages more turning inward. So grab your bolster. You might even want your blanket to stack on top. You can make it as high as you need to. We're going to take deer pose in the yin variation, or just a spinal twist here in the restorative. So you can stack the left thigh over the right shin. You can also move into a more distinct deer variation, taking 90-degree angles at both knees, taking the left knee out parallel to, or left thigh parallel to the right shin. And then you're going to take your right hip next to the bolster and take your hands on either side of the bolster or your stack of blankets and elongate the spine. So take a moment here and get along first. And then with that length, slowly start to fold down. And you can turn the head in the same direction as your twist. You can let your forehead rest down on a blanket or a block, or you can turn your head in the other direction. Whatever feels the most comfortable for you here as we stay for the next few minutes. Finding a place you can rest comfortably. Again, twists also help you wring out what's no longer needed, giving you the potential to open new space for a future that's to come. So again, take the first few moments here to get settled. You might need to fidget a little to find a position that you can settle into for the remainder of our time here. All the while breathing in and out through the nose effortlessly before we change the breath deliberately. So we're going to take a Valoma Pranayama. Again, it might be a little more challenging in the sense that the breath won't be as deep because you're twisting. But again, it's supposed to be a very mild twist, so make sure you still can breathe comfortably. But on your next inhale, fill up completely, as much as you can. As you exhale, release all of the breath back out. And then inhale once again through the nose, fill up. As you exhale, breathe half of the breath back out. Take a light pause. Finish the rest of the breath back out and pause. And then inhale completely and fully. Exhale half of the breath out. Exhale the second half of the breath out. Inhaling completely. So finding that rhythm for you. Inhale in one part, exhaling in two parts. Jaw, throat, eyes, and body relaxed. Take 2 more rounds just like that. Go back to letting the body breathe itself effortlessly. On your next inhale, use your hands to help push your way back up. All we're going to do is switch sides. So literally shift your legs. Try to take the same leg position you did just moments ago. But this time your left hip will be by your bolster. Right knee or right thigh will be on top of left shin if they're closer together, or thigh and shin will be parallel. You're going to start by taking your hands to frame your bolster, your blankets, as you lengthen the spine. And keep that length as long as you can as you start to fold into your second side of your twist. And be aware of the sensations as your body touches the bolster, as the bolster and the blankets support your body. As you move the body around just enough so that you can find more comfort in this position, knowing that it might be slightly different than the first side, and that's okay. Keep your effortless breathing at the beginning here. Noticing now how the breathing or the slight constriction of the breath at the front of the body allows the back of the ribs to open with more ease. And as you settle in on this side, ask yourself if it would be better to breathe normally, consistently, with an even length of breath in and out. Or ask yourself if you'd like to take Valoma Pranayama once again, inhaling naturally and fully, exhaling half of the breath out with a light pause. Before you exhale the second half of the breath out, and pause again before you inhale completely. Select a rhythm that's just right for you, right here and right now. No expectations, no judgment. You know what's right for you. And then stick with that pattern, focusing the mind into the present moment. Can any part of your body get heavier as you breathe here? Taking 2 more cycles of your conscious rhythmic breath, whatever that looks like for you. Before returning to an effortless inhale and exhale, where the body can be heavy, supported, without any external demands other than just being aware. When you do feel ready to come back up, use your inhale to press your hands into the floor, raising your torso up. Pausing for a moment, and maybe you just windshield wiper the knees side to side, or you recline back on your bolster if that feels good to you. We're going to move your bolster out of the way next and grab your strap. So we are going to move into some slightly yin territory here as we close out the last portion of our sequence. So set your bolster aside for now. You might want it in a few minutes, but you don't need it quite yet. Grab your strap, and before you lie down, take the loop and bring it around your torso. And we're going to keep it around the heart rate monitor level, or for ladies, that would be the level of your bra strap. So higher than the kidneys, a little bit lower than the heart. So come down, make sure you've got room around you so you're far away from the wall if you want to extend the legs. And then here are your options. Bend the knees, place the soles of the feet on the floor, and then we're going to loop the strap around the ball mount of your right foot. And this is where we're going to, like I said, maybe get into a little bit more of a stretch than would be normal for a restorative class. But with the loop on the strap, you can adjust the tautness of your strap till you get, again, that 50 to 60% stretch in the hamstrings. And now your body weight of the torso is just going to help offset the hamstring stretch. And you can micro bend the back of the right knee, and you can stay with this left knee bent, or if you feel so inclined, you can stretch it out. So just decide where you're at today, what your body needs most. And notice that there's a light flex in the foot. We're going to breathe here for a couple minutes on each side. So start to take an inventory of what you notice here just by changing the body position. Notice that now you're breathing in and the back of the ribs can expand and once again press into the floor behind you, and maybe you feel it on the strap, giving you some weight to compensate for the heaviness of your right leg. Notice where on your right leg you're aware of a stretch. And can you soften or back off just the slightest bit? We do tend to push in life and accomplish and get things done, and that feels wonderful. It's very satisfying to have a goal and reach it, or a desire to take action and be satisfied in how it turns out. But right now we're just memorizing the subtle sensations of satisfaction, of being here without having to do anything, but memorizing that everything is working out perfectly, that you are supported, that you have the inner tools to meet the demands of your life, and that actually being here in the posture to reduce stress is one of the best things you can do for the body and mind to reach those overall goals. Let your breath be effortless. And use your mind to focus on sensations as they shift and change in the posture. Take 5 more conscious cycles of breath. the end of your next exhale, slowly rebend the right knee. Let your strap rest on your torso for a moment. You can either keep both knees bent and take constructive rest, maybe the feet going a little wider than the knees coming together, or you can pause in Shavasana with your legs extended. But take a pose that's going to give you a very clear visual, very clear internal representation of a difference right to left. When we're stressed, we can't see the big picture. We can't gain that broader perspective. So every time you're here in a restorative class, you gain the ability to do so, to come back, have wisdom in making decisions, not just for the short term, but for the big picture too. As you're ready, slowly rebend your knees once again, placing the soles of the feet on the floor, and this time bend the left knee in, loop the strap up behind the ball mount of the left foot, aware that this side might be a little different than the first, so adjust the strap length as needed. And then find the light flex in the left foot. Notice the back of the pelvis on the right and left sides, both heavy evenly, or as much as possible. Notice the spine dropping toward the ground, even if the natural curve of the spine has some of the low back off of the ground. Taking any arm position that's best for you, or the leg position that's best for you, right knee bent or right leg extended. Your choice today. But try to take the variation that you chose on the first side. And then start to scan the body. The back of the head heavy, the tongue resting at the bottom of your mouth, the back of your shoulder blades in contact with the ground, the back of the triceps, the back of the forearms, the back of the hands. Do you notice the positioning of your strap against the back line of the body as you breathe in and out? Where do you sense that 50 to 60% stretch on the back of the left leg? Can you soften behind the left knee? And ever so slightly, feeling that left heel lift toward the ceiling and the toes point down toward the face. And then letting go of any residual tension in the body that's trying to help you stay in this position. Let it go and let your breath be even and as effortless as possible. Notice that just by being still and breathing here, you're giving the body a chance to increase its vitality, boost your immunity, increase cellular communication, balance out the fascia, a whole host of inner balance that occurs just by being here, by your willingness to pause from the other events in your life and nourish your body and mind. Take a couple more rounds of breath on this side. After your next exhale, slowly begin to bend the left knee. Place the left foot on the ground, pausing with bent knees or extending the legs out to Shavasana, which is where we're going to end class today so you can get settled and start to feel a sense of evenness with your legs extended. Or if you feel so inclined to reach over, grab any props you want. Maybe it's the bolster underneath your knees. Whatever you have to do or whatever you want to do, with as little energy as possible to get comfortable. You'll readjust your back on your mat. Readjust the shoulders, the hips, and the legs and the spine so that you're symmetrical and balanced and ready to let this posture integrate all of the changes you've made in the practice so far. So we'll seal that in with 3 more cycles of breath. Before we do, bring your intention that you started class with to your mind's eye. How you want it to be different and why you showed up today. And then seal that in as you inhale, filling up deeply. Pausing at the top before you exhale and release. 2 more times, inhaling consciously. Pausing before you exhale back out. Last time, inhaling, fill up. Let the body get heavier in the pause. And then breathe back out again. Letting go of any need to control the breath, the mind, the body. Be still and rest in this stillness. Body naturally breathing itself. The body's wisdom to create inner balance without you having to know exactly what's going on. And your heart and brain sending coherent messages throughout your entire system to facilitate that equanimity. Your only job is to get as comfortable and heavy and relaxed as possible here. Stay as long as you'd like. If you are ready to return to the waking world around you, deepen your breath first. And then send that breath down to gentle movements of your toes and your feet and your ankles, your fingers and your wrists. Maybe taking a nice long stretch with the entire body before drawing your knees into your chest and rolling over onto one side, momentarily pausing to be aware of the changes you've made here on your mat. Taking your next in-breath to press your way back up to a seat. Careful if your strap's still around you. And just pausing for a moment with your head back above your heart. This new state of being that you're walking into, stepping into, and rising into. Knowing that you're not the same person who came here 60 minutes ago. So as you take your hands to your heart center, bow your gaze slightly, thanking yourself for this time you've carved out, for your dedication to the stillness practice, to the mental training, to the nurturing that your body needs to stay well. So I thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. Go off and enjoy this new, restored and relaxed state of being as you move into your day. Namaste.